Captain's Log, episode 36. This week's episode of the Beer Vengers podcast is sponsored by Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Now open 7 days a week with outdoor and indoor dining. Tickets now available for their epic 7-year anniversary party on June 27th. Limited reserved seating available at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. Get your tickets while you can. Enjoy the eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, home bar to yours truly, Captain Porter Brown Stout. This week, Captain Huck and Beer Wonder welcome guest librarian, father-to-be, and beer venger-to-be, Charles Moran. Come for the no less than 8 pours. Stay for the digressions on Broadway show tunes, Charlotte Rampling films, Queen's blackouts from the early aughts, and of course the arduous naming ceremony. Remember to like, star, and subscribe us whenever that feels appropriate, and send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you'd just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 36, Librarian at the Gate.
Well, we're the beer vengers, beer vengers, beer vengers. We're the beer vengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you once again from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens. Back home again. This is Captain Porter Brown Stout.
And coming to you from the west side of New York City, this is the Pale Male Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the county of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder!
And we are...
The Beer Vengers!
Oh, yeah. That's right. We're the Beer Vengers, everyone.
Sultry. I liked it.
Beer
This is
Wonder
our
is
beer
just like
cast.
angry about that.
It sounds angry.
Angry about that name.
But the villainous quality, I think, is say what we will about Nutpool. But sometimes
Say
I
what
feel
you will
like
about Nutpool. It's starting early.
We need to. I like bringing a little bit of villain every
Yeah, well, he wanted to be on the show more, so he certainly is now.
Yeah. Right.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. We have a great show ahead of you, and ahead of us, and anyone else who is interested in any way. But before I talk about any of that, before we even get to the pours or a discussion, I want to introduce you our special guest today, our special soon-to-be next to be crowned in the Beer Vengerhood. It is Charles Moran. It's Moran, right? All right, very good.
Yeah.
Charles Moran, who is he's a librarian. He was in a horror movie once. He also loves horror movies, and he has a couple of upcoming projects. One, he's a father-to-be, but most importantly, for the purposes of our show anyway, he's a beer venger-to-be. Welcome,
right.
Charles.
Yeah. Thank you. Goosebumps on that intro song, and thanks, Captain. That was awesome. Appreciate it. Yep.
Wow. It was a chilling rendition.
It
Was.
was. And super exciting. Charles is also a longtime listener fan of the show, so we're happy to have pulled directly from our fabulous listenership. To crown some Beer Vengers.
You guys have given me like some great advice on how to like get my hands on some special beers, like finding out about Tap Room. I wouldn't have found out about that app without your podcast and Craft Shack and stuff like that.
Well,
and just really diversifying those drinks. But Ditmas cheese, right?
We do strive to be entertaining as well as informative.
Absolutely.
And we've got a lot to entertain and inform you about on this upcoming show. We're going to learn a little bit more about Charles later in his beginning fable.
Yes.
Don't want to trigger the sound any earlier than it needs to be. We're going to hear a little bit more about our
Genesis.
Weekend. Yes. What is that?
His tale of Genesis.
His tale of Genesis. And we've got lots to talk about our weekend beer, being back here in New York once again for all of us this week. But before we do any of that, I mean, it's really not the show until we get to the pours, right?
No, it's not.
That's
And
right.
I'm feeling very dry.
This whole going first thing was fantastic, so I think I'm going to try it again.
It was nice.
Wait, what are you doing? Beer Wonder?
Well, I went first last week, and it was really fun. So I thought maybe I would just do that again.
I think that's fine. That's fine.
But it kind of, I don't feel like I don't know you anymore, man.
Well, you're right. The villainous side of me is coming out, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I know you sort of like guttural with your Beer Vengers announcement. Have you completely lost the sight of righteousness about what is truly polite? I don't know if I can do a show with a Beer Wonder that's not polite.
I don't know.
And doesn't embrace all those virtues.
It's clear that the summer madness has come over me. I apologize to my fellow Beer Vengers. It does seem that we should allow our guest to go first.
There you go. There you go.
And what by Beer Vengers, even though he only mentioned us and you're a Beer Venger to be, I think he meant you too, Charles.
Okay. All right. Yes. Cool.
He apologizes to you as well, don't you, Beer Wonder?
I do. I apologize to Beer Vengers near, far, soon to be, and long time. It was a dark moment. Well, I'm going to bring it back.
I feel like we're already moving past it. The healing has begun.
Apology accepted. I was getting nervous that this might be a villain origin story, but hey.
Well, they need them too. Well, but Charles, what do you have for us today?
Well, for today, I thought it would be only appropriate due to the new president being from Delaware and my parents having retired to Delaware to bring into the Beer Venger sphere some Delaware brewed beers.
Excellent.
We have never had a Delaware beer on the show, so I'm very excited about this.
No one's ever said Beer Venger sphere. That's good.
and Charles, you're starting off well, bringing new states to the table.
Yeah,
Good way to ingratiate yourself here.
Awesome. So I wanted to start with this beer. It is from a brewery called the Big Oyster Brewing Company, and it's called Strawberry Banana Dreamsicle.
Oh, hello! I love the can. Look at that with the red and the like pinky red and the sort of yellow on it.
Yeah. And what I found fun of some of these, and I think other halves was probably the ones who started doing it. Other half is the stamps at the end. They don't just say when it's canned; they say that's bananas because we're doing Strawberry Banana Dreamsicle.
All right,
nice. All right. I can't wait to see this one.
What was it?
Hey!
Oh man.
That was a good crack. And clearly a freshie because it's popping right out. All right, hold it up a little higher so we can see that.
Right,
oh, yeah. Oh, that is perfect framing.
Definitely getting
now, I'm assuming I'm assuming that's a sour, right, Charles?
No, it is actually an Indian Pale Ale. It is an
IPA.
Okay.
I am seeing chunks in there. Wow.
Yeah. Wildly hazy. Can you go ahead and hold up the can and the glass next to each other so we can just take a look at the can art with that?
This is going to be interesting.
There we
So,
go. beautiful.
That looks like an egg drop soup. That's like
right.
Wow. So delicious.
That is incredibly hazy.
What was the name of the brewery again?
Big Oyster Brewery.
Big Oyster.
So they're pretty interesting in that they're actually, I think a lot of breweries right now are like kind of like restaurants and they're brewing. So they started off as that's how they started off, as just a small little shop that was doing oysters, and they had like small brew. I don't know what they're called.
So like a brew pub, like an oyster bar brew pub. Yeah.
So then they got into a bigger venue, a bigger restaurant. Looks like a barn. I said, why don't we go into that barn place? Because they got good beers. So
nice.
Not a bad idea.
Glad to add them to our roster. All right. Well,
great.
I mean, for the next pour, I mean, I'm maybe a little biased in saying this, but does anyone else have a new state to add to the list? Because it seems like anyone who has a new state might be a good person to go next, maybe.
So that's you,
no?
I assume?
Well, I do. Actually, I have one, yes.
I
have it. So I
Captain,
guess it would only be...
It would only be polite.
Yes. The beer, it would only be polite for our next...
Sponsored pour.
There you
go. How nice.
To be, it is a sponsored pour from our sponsor, Astoria Beer and Cheese Dip Mars at 35-11 Dip Mars. This is from the, let's see here, the Mountains Walking Brewery in Bozeman, Montana.
Oh, fun.
And it's a beautiful can art we see there.
Yeah. Oh, that is gorgeous. I love the reflective
really
quality
nice.
to it. Yeah, really
All
beautiful.
right.
And
Design.
And this is from their dessert cart series, or as some people might hear it, the "Fuck You, Sean Hill" series. It is cookies and cream stout with lactose cookies and cocoa nibs at a rousing 10.5% ABV.
Captain, you do not go halfway with your beers, do you?
Oh, there
Never.
we go. It's a quiet little crack there, but it's already brimming over.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that was just leaping right out of the can.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. Super dark with a 10%er. It's the kind of small head that you'd expect, but I do love that
getting
brown
a little
color.
healthy. Yeah,
it is healthy. Yeah, there we go. It's
oh gosh,
gotta make sure I get
head on that.
Especially as a sponsored pour. Make sure I get the.
I mean, you may not even.
I forgot how to do this. I've been out of town too long with those doubling. There we go.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, the can is just so sparkly. The beer is just so deep and dark and rich. Oh, that looks beautiful.
So good.
Oh my. Oh my!
Well, all right, I'll let you two fight it out for who wants to go next.
I'm just gonna go.
Huck, I've already been rude today, so I do feel like I need to earn my keep. So, would you like to go next?
Thank you very much. Well, my beer actually was given to me by a good friend of mine named the Beer Wonder.
Oh, the Beer Wonder.
This is the Coney Island SBC.
Oh, fun!
The South Brooklyn Cerveza.
Oh yes.
And it's supposed to be a smoky lager with lime and lime peel and smoked malt. All right, you know how I love them smoky.
Yeah. Now I will say I have sampled this one at their brewery location, which was very exciting.
Oh, soft on the crack there. That's not gonna. Oh, and it's got a nice left-handed option.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see what this looks like. This is gonna be Lagerlicious.
Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, it's nice and clear, beautiful, good creamy foamy head on top of it.
Yeah, and it's our first Coney Island beer too.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I think so.
Yeah. Coney Island Brewing.
Yes.
Right.
Which is associated with the Boston Beer Company.
Yes, our dear friends, Uncle Sam.
Excellent.
There you go.
All right. Well, in penance, I will take last place today, and but I'm excited about the beer I'm bringing. It is, of course, a
sponsored pour.
Naturally, yes, from our friends at Astoria.
Getting better at that.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Captain. You're always fantastic.
Killing it.
This is the Going Places from our friends at Hopewell Brewing, which is out of Chicagoland.
Well, very nice.
So that's Second City. This is another nice IPA. It's got that new wave fresh citrus. They're putting out that like prickly finish. It's going to be a nice like New Englandy kind of sweet thing. So I'm excited to try it out. Also a casual 6.8. So it'll be a good beer. Here we go.
Take a look.
Okay. And there we go.
Have we had Illinois beers on before?
We have had, yeah. Now this one is not as hazy as I guess I would have expected. Definitely not as hazy as Charles's beer, but still got that nice golden straw color. Good head buildup. I'm digging it. I'm a fan.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now that we are all officially poured, everyone raise a glass.
All right.
Cheers. Sláinte.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Kampai. Etc.
Chin chin.
Oh, very nice.
Oh.
Now, of course, the head is completely gone now, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, no, disappeared. Mine is holding on very aggressively.
Really
My head does not want to go down at all.
It's got small bubbles there, too. It's a tightly packed head, or is that my vision?
No, you're 100% right. It's like it will not let go, which is great. It's good for the aromas, of course. But
I'm definitely getting smokiness on this. I know you undersold the smoke, but got a really nice smoky nose. Got that like almost bacony quality, and the flavor is great with the lime. It's just a nice combination. Brings it home. And the finish is very. Definitely get that that smoke on the finish as well. So the smoked malts are in there. I'm getting it on the nose and on the finish, and a little bit on the tongue too.
Yeah. This one was a discovery that I will go into later in our weekend beer.
All right.
But I tasted this one and immediately thought that Huck definitely needed to have a can in his possession to add to his smoky beer collection.
And I've got there's a term I didn't use last week. I was trying to think of chill haze.
Yes, that's it. Oh, you can definitely
chill
see
haze, the condensation.
Oh, I see that.
Haze. Yeah.
I see that on the glass. Yeah.
That was going to be in the hookup, so now we already
see
one out of the
way. 2 birds,
right?
1 stone.
Now I want to hear more about this banana pineapple. What's going on?
Yeah, tell us, Charles.
All right, so it's strawberry banana.
Okay.
It's I'm sorry I was.
I'm sorry. Strawberry banana.
Yeah. I'm sorry I was negligent. It's 7.0 IPA.
All right.
And so I see like my suds kind of just disappeared, but when you drink it, so this is gonna sound weird, but when you drink it, you're like, wait, should a beer taste like that at first?
Yeah. I'm looking for it on their gram.
So is it banana? Is it straw? Like
so,
where is all these
exactly?
flavors?
So it's a dry hop beer.
Okay.
It's conditioned on pureed banana and pureed strawberry.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I know there are some banana flavored beers where it's the yeast gives you that banana flavor, but with this they actually pureed the bananas and conditioned it on it, and so you have that kind of I've had strawberry beers where it's like it's bitter, it brings out the acidity. This is sweet because there's vanilla in it and a touch of lactose in it.
Yeah,
so,
I would think so.
So it's very creamy, a big mouthfeel, and at first you're like, wait, this beer shouldn't taste like this, and then a couple more sips in, and you're like, I'm enjoying this. This is kind of almost like desserty,
Sure.
Are you
getting the banana on there?
Oh yeah. So the banana's very forward, and then the aftertaste you get a sweeter strawberry. So it's like it is fruity. It's I wouldn't say it's like fruity like you would have like with a sour. You're like, oh yeah, this is fruit. This is fruit. It's that IPA kind of fruit. It complements the hops, I suppose, where the hops aren't coming off as bitter. So you're complementing like more on a sweet kind of fruit like we're used to in the
like real fruit.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like where it's like, oh, this mango, I have the hint, this mango hints of because the wind blew the mango flavored scents of these hops on the West Coast. That this is actually the fruit. And like you said, it's like almost like I don't know if it's because
look at that.
Oh, yeah, there's literally collecting the
You see it's whether it's the wild yeast that's settling there too or it's also some of that puree coming in.
This can be common in these beers where they use real fruit. If they use a lot of it, then that can happen with those. And also, you showed me you said the can. Is it an older can? Because
yes. So, been sort of a fanboy, you guys, for a little bit, and there might have been maybe you can get have a chat with these guys about beers and stuff. So I had this for a little bit of time. Like I would say, and I was like, this would be a great beer if like I could ever get invited on this and get indoctrinated into the Beer Vengers here. And so I was
it's a high bar to get indoctrinated into the Beer Vengers, to be sure.
Right. At least one time, sir. So me, my brother-in-law, and my sister, we go on these like beer ventures in Delaware. So this was Thanksgiving.
Oh wow!
Okay. And so like Thanksgiving, we were doing our let's find another brewery. So we always we make an homage trip, a pilgrimage to Dogfish Head.
Naturally, one must,
because that's now the Disneyland of breweries, in my opinion, on the East Coast. So
now that's actually kind of interesting to me because a lot of the people that we talk to who are from or spend a lot of time or have lived in these regional areas, they sometimes are a little disdainful of the ones we've actually heard of. not disdainfully, like, oh yeah, like we had when we had the cowbell on, he was talking about like, oh yeah, bells, founders, whatever. I've got and the same thing with and so it's interesting. Dogfish Head is definitely the closest to a macro that you have because it's got the widest distribution, but you still have great respect for Dogfish Head.
Yeah, and they're still independently owned.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They really do. I mean, they're 60 and they're 90 or 120 is outstanding.
They're definitely innovators.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as my shirt says, it's off-centered ales for off-centered people. So, I mean, so what I would say is like growing up, me and my sister, whether it was iced, I want to say we were drinking when we were young, but like we'd be like, "Hey, let's go."
We'll get to that in your story.
Right.
Yeah.
Your origin, yeah.
We're always like drinking like iced teas and stuff like that, and the new flavors, and that's why like Dogfish has always been like we would want to see what they're innovating on because they just keep trying to push the envelope. I've had a chocolate lobster stout that they do every once in a while. Maine lobsters with a chocolate. It's either porter stout, but had to try it. It's kind of pricey, but
yeah, that's a captain beer right there.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of chocolate, I want to sort of weigh in a little bit on this one. Like I said, the head pretty much disappeared right away.
Right.
And I'm starting to reevaluate what cookies and cream actually means when it comes to beer, because I don't think cookies and cream used to be, I think the whole flavor for ice cream was started because they couldn't put Oreos in the name because they would have to pay for that.
Sure.
But what people loved about them was like the chunks of Oreo. But with like the idea of the flavors being cookies and cream, it's more chocolate and milk than really trying to replicate the flavor of an Oreo with that whatever that chemically stuff they have in between the cookies is that we all loved as children, but it's probably toxic garbage.
Well,
but like for instance, I look at this one and it says what specifically says it's with lactose cookies and cocoa nibs. And I definitely taste that creaminess with the lactol mouthfeel, and I taste that chocolatey thing in there, and it's and with very subtle booziness. What's weird is like one of those things where sometimes certain beers almost there's like you get a little sense of not cola flavor, but something like the consistency of cola. Getting a little bit of that with this one.
Interesting with the stout, imperial stout. Okay.
That's intriguing, yeah.
But yeah, really, really good.
Okay,
great. Like a chocolate soda or something,
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, so this is a delightful IPA, really kind of hitting that Midwest IPA thing that we talked about during my misadventures in Wisconsin. So it's sort of in there. But I was reading the description. Well, first off, the brewery's great. They're locally minded, in the Logan Square area in Chicago. So way to go. Being out in the neighborhoods and repping for that. But the way that they describe it is a vibrant combo of new wave hops offering fresh citrus, tropical fruit, and sticky pine with a prickly finish. And this idea of a prickly finish is something I really notice with this beer, because right when it goes down, you kind of get smacked with all those bitter hops. Like you were like, oh, this is a nice like tropical adventure, kind of what Charles is going on with all these bananas and something. And then at the very end, it's like, no, screw you. There are hops in here and you're going to like it. So it hits really hard at the end. And then there's this big like drying sensation. So it's an adventurous beer. Like it takes you on a journey. You think you fall in love with it, then it smacks you, and then you come back for more. It's a complicated relationship, but I'm in for it.
What percentage did you say it was?
6.8.
Nice.
Yeah, very respectable.
Yeah. Exactly. 6.8. It's a delightful little charming beer.
Yeah, mine's a lot lighter, much more of a sessionable 4.8.
Yeah, that one I feel like would be a good one to drink like by a campfire,
this has, on the beach. That's the description here. And it has the IBU on here, 16.
Well, it's not even trying then.
Low IBU. Yeah, it's like I was just trying to figure out where they brew it because.
So this, I do know that this is, so of course, because, Uncle Sam has thrown a bunch of money at our dear friends at Coney Island, and like, way to go. A lot of their more core beers, like their Mermaid Pilsner and their Merman IPA and things like that, are now being, contract brewed out in a larger location, but they still have tanks down at Coney Island. And so
it looks like this was brewed in Brooklyn.
Yep, it's a lot of their more experimental ones are being done down at Coney Island, and so I haven't seen this one in stores really. I picked it up at the brewery to get it to you, but but they're doing fun stuff down there, and it's a great spot if you happen to be there. They've got a big open area, so you can be nice and COVID safe if you want that. It's right by the beach. Excellent wait staff, just the most fun, ridiculous people you'll ever meet. Lots of tattoos and like kind of punk rock grunge feel. It's really great. So if you happen to be in Gotham City, you should swing by there. And, also maybe, I don't know, go say hi to some fish while you're down there. It's just a thought.
Yeah, it's a great spot. And I think that they've, over the years, they've done a lot of really interesting beers. And, being bought by the bigger company in this case is Uncle Sam, the Boston Beer Company. And they still have their roots in craft beer. So it's not like, they're one of the big five, but they are getting bigger. I was thinking that they have the Breaking Bad analogy is that the Boston Beer Company, they're the ones who knock.
They are the ones who knock.
They are the ones who knock now.
They also went into a partnership with Dogfish Head too, so they kind of, I don't know what it.
Oh, is that right?
I feel like when Uncle Sam shows up, they just kind of throw money and organization at groups. Like they don't come in and try and take over and really integrate them into some sort of like mass production so far, right? But at least with the folks down at Coney, they basically were like, here, have money, we're going to make your big beers off site, you go be creative and make fun things, be a craft brewery, which is great.
That Mermaid Pilsner's a good beer.
Oh yeah,
that's a quality pils.
I had a weird show tune moment there when we did that Nefarious So Far. Just made me think of that. Think of that one in Evita. It's like, you must be quite relieved you are still independent so far. If anyone knows that song is, it's.
What was I watching? Oh, the woman, Fran Lebowitz. There's a documentary about her, and she like saw the original. Or was that the table read for the original
Evita? Yeah,
Evita, and she was like, "Who makes a musical about Eva Peron? This is a terrible idea. Terrible idea." And then, of course, it goes on to make all this money.
So this is
says,
why no one should ever ask me my
I think
opinion.
It's still a terrible idea.
Right, terrible idea, but no one should really ask me my opinion about what should be a hit. I think
all the Hayes Bros listening are like, "What's happening?" talking about
Broadway theater show tunes.
Welcome to the complications of being a beer venger.
Hey, this is a beer venger world.
We are a big tent. Also, happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. We haven't had the gay beer on the show.
Anytime.
No. Gay beer not welcome. I've tried it. I did not.
It's not a good beer.
I will say New York City Brewers Guild is doing this. Is I guess for weekend beer a little bit, but New York City's Brewers Guild is currently doing an Instagram hunt for all of the Pride-based beers that are made by New York City breweries. So there's a ton that have got great beers that are supporting wonderful LGBTQ nonprofits and whatnot. I'm hoping to grab a couple for future shows. So tune in.
I smell an upcoming theme show.
Oh, potentially. You never know.
Yeah. Yes. I know that the Torch and Crown just put out Chasing Rainbows, and Threes Brewing has a beer called a nice hoppy lager called Gender Neutral, and so there's a lot of Pride Month themed beers for sure, which is great, and a lot of them are going towards different charities too. So
yeah, exactly. But you know what we are proud of? What we're proud of? We're proud of indoctrinating our newest beer ventures.
We are. I know it seems like we sometimes go off on tangents and anything, and if you think we do, you're right, we do. That because that's part of it.
Yeah,
that's part of it. Anyway, so
far.
Yes, and thank you for that gracious, genteel. The segue. It was a wonderful segue. I was trying to think.
Thank you.
Are there other words that were in my brain somewhere, but they're clouded by this beautiful 10.5% Montana beer?
Well,
but yes,
its job, Captain.
What was the name of the brewery again, Cap?
It is called Mountains Walking.
Oh, that's a great name.
And if you drink too many of these, the mountains might start walking. It seems like
they might. Same like Burnham Wood or something. Now we're into Shakespeare. Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah, I just made a Shakespeare reference.
Nice,
all right, so now we've gotten away from our segue and into another thing, and we're back into our segue because, yes, Beer Wonder has a very good point. There comes a time in every aspiring beer venger's life that it becomes time for them to tell what we lovingly refer to on the Beer Vengers Beercast as their origin story.
Origin story.
That's right. It's time now for the Beer Avenger origin story of Charles Moran. And it's especially exciting because him telling the story is part of his origin story. Is that meta enough for you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't even. I'm just going to have to odd.
That's right. So Charles, tell us. This is how we usually start these things, and I see no reason to bend from tradition. Do you recall your earliest experience at whatever young age you were when you first became aware of how you experienced beer?
Yes.
and thank you for coming. All right.
Well, would you like to be more specific?
Yes. Interesting enough, I think I just know that as a little kid, not that I was drinking, as a little kid, I always remember my dad sitting at those tables with those stubby bottles. You guys, I know you guys talked about in the past the stubby bottles.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
I remember I was asking, what are you drinking, Dad? What's the stubby bottle? He's like, I just need to gain weight. I'm too skinny. So that's what beer is to in the beginning, right?
Right.
And then
it's like a protein shake.
Yeah, I want to build muscle. No, but I guess it has to be Bud. It's always Bud. Starts with Bud.
Bottles of Bud.
It did have those in the stubby bottles, yeah.
Because I don't think the amazing craft brewery type movement was around at that time. And go to a party and you have one Bud and 2 Buds, 3 Buds. By 3, you're like, oh, this is enough Buds. But my most enjoyable experience with beer was when I went to Ireland. I would have to say, I went to school upstate. My buddy went to school in the city. So like when I was downstate, we would go to bars and you would have to have a Guinness. To me, that's what a beer was, a Guinness. And then you go to Ireland and you're like, whoa, this is a Guinness, right?
Yes.
You're like, why? There is chunks of wood in this. Like I'm drinking the chunks of wood. This is thick. This is awesome. So I'd have a Guinness and I'd have a cider because that was like an amazing change of pace. And I was good. You have to drink one and keep the other one company.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was always a Guinness and a Bud, and then.
And what was if you were over in England or Ireland? What was the name of, what do they call Magners over there? I always forget it.
Yeah, Bulmers.
Bulmers, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you just take 2 and you're kind of toasty over there, and you're like, wow, I never feel like this way in the States when I have my one Guinness and 1 woodchuck cider or whatever it was at the time, raspberry cider. But my most enjoyable story that I like to tell about, so like I went to school upstate. Before I went to Ireland, my buddy said, let's go out one time before you go to Ireland. We went to Nevada Smith. You guys know that place?
Yeah,
Nevada
I remember it.
Yeah.
Still there?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there.
I used to occasionally, there's a movie theater about a half a block from there. I remember I used to occasionally go there before or after that seeing movies there.
Yeah. So we had a drink there. Now, when I went to Ireland, I had a cousin in Ireland. She got me tickets to see a hurling match. So when we went to a hurling match, the guys that she hooked me up with, they took me to a bar. And I had the colors of the team that won. And when I started to walk to the bathroom, this huge older feller grabs me and is like, so who do you think is going to win the finals? And I was like, what? I'm just wearing a ribbon that has colors on it. So, but the guy stepped in and go, no, he's from America. We're like, oh, America? I have a son who owns a bar in America. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. America. Yeah. He's like, he's in New York. Where are you from? I'm like, New York. And I'm like, how could this keep going? New York's pretty big, right? He goes, so it's Nevada Smiths. And I'm like, what? And we're in a random pub in Cork. So it's kind of like okay. He's like, you go there and you tell them have a drink on George. I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. I go back. I said, this guy says we should go here and have a drink on him. And we went. He sat at the bar. And the guy comes over, what can I get you? I was like, well, I just came back from Cork, Ireland. And George says to have a drink on him. Because I'm kind of, as you can tell, I kind of can be like reserved, shy, pilot. Hey, and he's like, and the bartender's just like, all right, what do you have? And I'm like, whoa, this works. It was like the most amazing thing. Like just a randomly. So from there, I would say that's my beer story of how like what I've enjoyed to drink as like Guinness beginning, and then and then to segue into the craft. Sorry, I feel like
makes me wonder if George has a really big tab at Nevada Smith's, a big outstanding tab at Nevada Smith's, which is why the bartender rolled. I was like, oh yeah, he'll never pay me back. But
yeah, they got us a picture of because see then it was like cider back then, and I would say like they said all of a sudden there was this like new beer that was like starting to make its way into the bars, Sierra Nevada. And I was like, so hey, why don't you try a Sierra Nevada? When you try a Sierra Nevada, though, after years of Bud or the flavorful Guinness, you're like, what is this? This is like your taste buds just could not adjust in the beginning. And it's so interesting because that's what some of the brewery tours like Dogfish Head would say, because they would give a really great comprehensive brew tour when you go to them.
Sure.
And they would talk about a lot of the East Coast places, even some of the West Coast places I've been, they always give Sierra Nevada the praise that they are the ones who helped foray. What's the thing where you start something?
Trailblaze.
Trailblaze. I like that.
All right, we'll use that one for now. I have a feeling it wasn't the word you were thinking of, but that's perfect placeholder.
Yeah, and I wasn't really jazzed about it. I would say I wasn't jazzed about it, but then my parents.
This is their pale ale, right?
Yeah, the green bottle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can say I like it because my taste buds have adjusted to this point. But like when you're first there, I'm like, oh, this is never gonna take. Like bizarro thinking. And
it's funny that way, yeah.
So like I would say I got into. This sounds weird, but I got into mixed drinks, right? I was going to library school, become a librarian, so I was a librarian, libator, or whatever you want to call it. So like after a class, you have a gin and tonic or something like that.
Yeah.
So, my parents retired. Yeah. So it's like got away from beer. Or every once in a while, you go, hey, we need a beer, or we'd have Heineken Dark. Or we'd have Beck's Dark. We're going real back.
Beck's Dark might have been one of my first dark beers.
Yeah. And like the bottle was like really cool because it was a different color. It was like a red. Yeah. And we.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I really like where we discovered that beer. That was on St. Mark's Place. There's an old dive type bar where all the punks used to go.
You're not talking about the Grassroots Tavern, are you?
No.
Because I really love that place. Which one do you mean?
Yeah. There's a few on St. Mark's.
Yeah.
We used to call it
Cocktail Lounge. What was that called?
Cocktail Lounge.
That was it. Yeah, that was it. And it was sad when the guy passed. Lounge, yeah, it was sad when the guy passed away and stuff. But they still kind of continued it. And it was interesting. They discovered like a mural in the back from like the Prohibition era when they were like renovating after. And we used to call it the vodka orange juice place because he would just pour a little orange juice and keep pouring vodka until the orange juice poured out, and you just had a little glass of vodka with some like smoggy stuff floating in it.
A little pulp in there.
Yeah, very unique take on the screwdriver.
A hint of flavor, just a hint.
Yeah. And it'd be like $5, and you're like, all right, just give me the bottle. Anyways, but so there's my segue. So in like around, I would say like 2004-ish, 5-ish, my parents retired and said, we're done with New York. Taxes are too high or whatever you the reason you leave for New York is. And they went to Delaware because my sister was going to University of Delaware. So I guess when they drove her, they were like, hey, this is nice. Delaware is that place that you travel from New Jersey and Pennsylvania to get to Maryland and DC.
Yeah.
But apparently there's pretty cool stuff there, like future presidents. I don't know. But anyway, so
lots of credit card companies, because the tax laws are very generous to them.
Yes. And that's why my parents are there. But not that they're, So me and my sister were there, and we're like, why are we in the middle of nowhere? Like, what? It's actually farmland, right? You have a really nice beach coast. But we're like we were near that
Delmarva Peninsula.
Yeah, Delmarva.
So you were still living with your parents when they moved there. So you moved there with them.
No.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I had moved out.
Yeah, I'm a little okay. You had moved out, so you're a lifelong native New Yorker.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the only one left. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't. Have we had any others of those? Charles is kicking a lot of first-time boxes.
I know.
I'm working on. I'm trying to go with names as we go along.
My sister. This is just to jump back to some of your previous episodes. My sister lives in Virginia, so she has really done a lot of, what is it? The Hardy. You guys featured it a lot. The
Hardywood.
Hardywood.
Pancakes,
Yeah.
Hardywood pancake stouts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I actually have one chilling in my fridge,
nice,
but it's special.
Yeah, I found a 4-pack of Hardywood Christmas morning recently that I could tell it just something they hadn't sold from when it was there before. I'm like, okay, this is coming home with me.
Oh man. So my parents did
swirl it.
Yeah. I was like, you see it, right? It's awesome.
It's going to be an interesting flavor.
Such chewy mouthfeel. Yes.
Anyway,
so they had retired to Delaware, and we were in the middle of nowhere. And I guess my sister kind of looked up a few things to do, and it was like, well, there's a brewery here, Dogfish.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove out there, and it was a factory. It was like a cannery, because we're talking 04 and stuff. So it used to be a cannery, and we're walking into this warehouse, and they're like, welcome. And they have like a picture. You want to go on a tour? Here's some plastic cups. And as we walk in the tour, they're like, oh, you need a refiller. This is our hope to be famous pumpkin ale, right?
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah. Pumpkin.
Yeah. With brown, it's like
that's a good one.
Indian brown, right? So it's like
I love the Indian brown.
I miss that.
Really good.
So good, yeah.
I haven't had that in a long time.
And they had all these. They had, I don't know. It had to been like 10 choices, and you're like, wait, beer's more than Bud, like beer's more than like I don't know. It sounds sacrilegious. Like there's more than one stout, it's not just Guinness, so like, and from there on, it's been very interesting every time I go visit my parents to see from 2004 to now how it went from like this kind of little hangar type factory that used to do canneries for things to like now it's like bells and whistles of like a Disneyland type thing. But
yeah, it's a major industry.
And from there on, I would say, like, I'm so happy that the craft movement was not around when I was in college, because there probably would be problems, because,
you might not have graduated.
Yeah, you were like, I want to try that one and that one and that one. And so that's really how I became a lifelong beer, IPA-ish, gotta sample everything type of guy.
Yeah, so you're saying if you have a go-to, it would be the IPA, but you like all of them.
Oh yeah. Call me a variety pack. But what's interesting is also, not to keep bantering, but
no, please.
Yeah.
Origin stories are important. I can already, and I'm glad Huck's back, because I can see Huck is already brewing on a name.
I've been here the whole time.
Oh, he's been
no. But the last time we tried this, he just wouldn't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he just.
I thought you said I checked out because I was writing. I'm trying to write down names here.
Wonderful segue, because he's brewing on a name. My sister married a chemist whose hobby is to brew beers. So like it's like pretty awesome to like try his clones and like really get in-depth stories. And I guess that's just to come back to this guy. is Thanksgiving. Me and the brother-in-law trying a whole bunch of beers, and I think we did get tipsy enough that when they told us that they were having a can sale because it's the day before Thanksgiving, we were like, we'll buy them all. $10 for 4-packs. We just strawberry banana. They had something, a drippy double. It's something called the dripping double hazy IPA. Anything with a little lactose to soften the bitterness of the hops. But sometimes you do need that bitterness of the hops. But has anybody found that, like, when you guys do you guys go through like phases?
Oh yeah.
Like, right? Like now I am back to the IPA with like the lactose kind of, and I want to get the hazy. But last summer I was like Pilsner.
Okay.
Pilsner. And then the summer before that it was, I gotta get my hands on those sours. Oh, what's this sour? What are you playing with this? I would say
me. That's why I have 5 different Beer Avenger names.
So
you keep them in reserve.
I just find it really fun to go through those phases and go, what season is my taste buds telling me? Like, and I was really bummed about this winter, not because of COVID,
but
partly because of COVID.
Not just because of COVID. Not just because of COVID. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, but I was bummed because I felt like I needed stouts, and it was really hard to find stouts in some of the bars near me. I actually went to get to my beer bodega, as I call it. I saw it on Captain was featuring it on one of his episodes, was the Rasputin.
Old Rasputin, yeah. They just started showing up again.
Yeah, I was like, it's time to get that Rasputin. So Absolutely. I went there and splurged on the Rasputin. Don't really have to splurge on a Rasputin though.
Well, yeah, because everything else is so much more expensive now. It's like, wow, Rasputin only like somehow now $5 for a bottle of something is like, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
But what was the neighborhood you grew up in?
Kew Gardens, Queens.
Kew Gardens in Queens.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I love that movie theater there.
Oh, the one that used to be a porno.
Well, that's before my time.
That's why I loved it. That's why I love it.
It still has that smell. No, the way.
But now it's an art cinema. It's an art cinema now.
Yeah, isn't that how it always goes? Smut to art cinema. Or really, honestly, that or like Disney theater on 42nd Street. That's the other option.
True. But no, the Kew Gardens there's an art cinema, and it's like $6 on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
I mean, I was.
In fact, that's the first reason I ever went to Kew Gardens, I believe.
Really? That's awesome. Because sometimes I'm kind of like, when I was, wherever you grow up, you're kind of like, Kew Gardens. But apparently it's also one of the only places in the whole country that has a bridge with stores that goes over a train station. There's something unique about that. Charlie Chaplin lived there. Will Rogers lived there.
Okay.
All the movie guys from the silent era, they apparently went over to Astoria.
I remember what I liked about it the first time I ventured into that neighborhood was just because I don't have particularly nostalgia for small town America, but I do find it's not that I don't like wish I was living in small town America, but sometimes it is kind of charming to see it every once in a while. And the first time I went to Kew Gardens, like I felt like I was in a small town upstate. Like, just somewhere in like, somewhere like Oswego or something like that.
Yeah.
It just had that vibe to it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Thanks. All right. I got appreciation now. But something interesting about it too is that the bus goes to JFK. So you get a lot of like flight attendant people who live around there.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk about
same thing where I am with LaGuardia.
I want to go on about that movie theater. So for two things, it's historical in my family. Is that's the place where my dad took his brother when his brother was getting married for his what is the thing
party.
Yes, he's like, I'm gonna take you to a porno. So they went to the porno when it was a porno, and then I went there when it was not a porno. Although I walked by it while I was in elementary school as a porno. I went there
as
when
you
it was.
Do.
Yeah,
one does.
You're like, oh, what is that? How does that work? No, anyway. when it was the art cinema, I went and saw the swimming pool, which was like a Charlotte Rampling.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I saw it somewhere like in the East Village, but yeah, I definitely saw that movie. I remember it.
Yeah, and I was like,
she was naked in it a lot.
Oh yeah, so I guess still staying with the theme, but yeah, when I went,
it was not a porno. This was not a
No,
porno
it
with
wasn't.
Charlotte Rampling. Let's just be clear about that. It was a very beautiful artistic film by this.
I thought
forgetting the name of the director, but I'll get to that.
It definitely deserved a Oscar. She was so powerful in it, and you're like, wow, this is the woman.
Ozone. Was that the name of the director? Francois Ozone.
I wouldn't know. But I went to the morning one because, like you said, they have discounts. So like I went to the first showing of the swimming pool because I was like, I want to see this. It's got great reviews, and I was just very interested in French cinema at the time. I watched it. I thought it was awesome. It was trippy. Kind of blows your mind because you're like, wait, is this the same person or whatever? But everybody who's listening, watch the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. But when I went home, I was like, all right, I feel like, and my parents and my sister, they asked me to stay at the house. When my parents asked me to stay at the house because they were going away. So I was going to house sit for a little bit. So I went home to the Queens home, not the Brooklyn home at the time.
Sure.
And I said, let me clear my mind. So I'm going to turn on a cartoon. I'm going to watch, there was Pokemon. I'm a weird guy. So I went from French to Pokemon. So I turned on the TV, theme song from this Pokemon thing, which I was not really a fan of, but I was like, wanting to clear my mind from the deepness of the cine art. And the TV blinked out. And I was like, what? Oh, shit, I screwed up the TV. Oh, sorry if I said shit.
No, this is an explicit podcast.
Oh my God, the librarian. No, anyways. So what a vocabulary he has. Anyway.
This is why you're going to need an assumed name by the end of the episode.
Exactly.
So no one can associate your explicit mouth with your library. We won't mention your library by name.
All right. Awesome. That's why I was vague. No. So yeah, it blinked out, and I was like, "Oh crap! I screwed up the TV. They're gonna fucking kill me when they come back." So like, I was just like, "All right, maybe I'll give it a few minutes." And then I went and I tried to turn on the light, and I'm like, "Why won't the light turn on?" I turn on the stereo because I'm like, I'll listen to music. Why won't the stereo turn on? It was that like East Coast cascading blackout that happened for like a whole weekend. So like I was like, I am saving the swimming pool ticket and I'm writing blackout day. And I just keep thinking, if I hadn't gone to the first show and I went to the second show, I'd be still sitting in that cinema with everything black, being like, you either give my money back or you're fixing how I'm gonna watch the rest of this movie. So
the 2003 blackout.
Yeah. That must have been it.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Well, there was another one. There was another one. I think it was 2005 or 2006.
That was specific to Queens.
It was 2003.
But the first one was. But there was another one that was specific to Queens. It may not have been happening in Kew Gardens, but I do remember it specifically because I think it was 2006, but I can't say for sure. But I remember going to movies. The blackout thing was happening. I started going to movies to spend time away from my apartment, thinking when I got home it might be over. And one of the things I think I did was I went to that same movie theater and I saw the Strangers with Candy movie.
Oh.
So we figure out what year that was. That's the year the Queen's blackout happened. But it lasted like a week, almost a week. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday through to like Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Remember I had to shave by candlelight.
Yeah, it was the weirdest how like everything was just dead and quiet and the sounds of the city.
Yes.
I didn't even come back until it was over, but I paid the price. I had to throw away massive amounts of beef and calamari.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
I moved to New York City days after the 2003 one.
Good timing.
The lights came back on. I was getting on an airplane being like, will there be electricity in the city I'm moving to? We're going to find out. It's going to be fun.
Picture the beer wonder like just walking into town. Hey, everybody seems uptight. What's going on here?
It's a big city.
Everything seems fine to me.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I got a beer.
Oh wait! Oh my goodness! Are we on to second pours already?
I think we are.
Well, actually, we're quite a while into the show here.
Oh,
Now, this is exciting because this is
an epic origin story.
Well done, well done. This is a Beer Avengers exclusive.
Oh wow!
Look at this.
Oh, it's a tiny can. Oh my god, with no label on it.
No label.
Who even knows?
This is a preview beer that only we're getting here at the Beer Avengers. This is called the Tuscan Sunset, and it's again smoked, a smoked Helles.
That's a smoky day for the cap.
When they say
Huck.
Tuscan, we're not talking about Italy. We're talking about Tatooine.
Ooh.
All right, so this is a beer that's a favorite of the Tuscan Raiders.
Okay.
Which are better known as the Sand People, or AKA the Sand People. Let's take a look.
What brewery is it from?
It's from 5440 Brewing.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
In Washougal, Washington.
Oh, good old
Very
Washougal.
translucent beer. Yeah.
Such a clear beer.
Very clear, yeah.
Can see
Beautiful
it
head production.
Washougal is home to a couple of breweries. It's a little popular spot for beer out there.
It's also a fun name to say for a
Not
town.
getting as much of a smoky nose as I did off the first one. Sorry, I lost the mic there for a moment. Apologies for my unprofessional.
All right. Yeah, let's see that adorable little blank can again.
Right, the can. I forgot.
The can art on this one really is taking me home.
It's very minimalist. Yeah.
We got this so exclusively that they didn't have the labels ready yet.
They're working on it.
I have seen the label, though. It's nice. It's nice. So this is on Tatooine as the Banthas settle in for the night. The ever-aggravated Tuscan Raiders spark up a campfire and pop a top on their favorite smoked beer. Their ferocious battle cries slowly change into chuckling grunts as the smooth malt character of Tuscan Sunset tickles their sun-drenched palates. How do they drink? I mean, do they take the bandages off, or
no one knows?
I mean, maybe they use straws. They probably have some kind of straw. Oh yeah, there we go. The gentle note of smoke from this straw-colored lager reminds these sandy savages of a similar time before old Ben started harassing them. We hope this unique, easy drinker brings you a little reprieve from your hot summer day, too. 4.7%, another light one. Not so smoky, but certainly refreshing.
All right.
Light. What are the words? Drinkable?
Sessionable.
Approachable.
Quaffable. And very approachable. Very approachable.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
beginners smoke because there's no smoke. Let me try the tongue trick here. Yeah, no, I'm not getting this.
No, don't do it. The tongue trick never works for me either. It's fine.
Really? No, I like the tongue trick.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make up for the lack of can art with this one. This is one I've had. One I got from Tavor. It is from the DC area. If I read this correctly, it is two breweries that are in one is in Maryland, one is in Virginia, but they are in the DC area. Mm-hmm. They are Adroit Theory and Kushwa Brewing. And this is a Russian Imperial Stout, and it is called Future You Hates You.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that can art is angry. That
it really is. It reminds me a little of the Nightmare one you had a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
and I'm going to get a little more into some of the incredible... Well, it's 13.5%er, by the way.
Captain, you're setting yourself up for success.
Oh, yeah.
Future You Hates You.
Good thing we're recording this, because I don't always remember the end of the things when these videos come into play.
Wow, this and also like so dark, but wildly for a 13% beer. That is a
Look
lot
at that
of
amazing head. Yeah,
I know. Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be
a
while.
I like how it's settled.
It's like a 16 ouncer. It's going to be a while before 13.5. It's going to be a while before I can only show you this thing that I think is. When I said there's a lot of information on this can, it's so great because we talk about various food pairings and dessert pairings. This one, on the side of it, you can't see that at all really in here.
No,
but it's like it's food, cheese, cigar, and music.
Oh,
and it has recommendations for all four categories for what goes best with this beer, which I think is pretty cool.
What is the music, if you don't mind?
Music is The Depression Sessions by Acacia Stain.
Wow. Okay.
Thy art is murder, fit for an autopsy.
Well, all of this fits.
I don't know which one of those are song titles and which is the name of the group, but that's all the words that are on there. Well, I guess the group is Acacia thing says acacia stain, unless it's acacia strain.
But strain, yes.
Acacia strain. I'm sorry.
I'm looking them up now. The Depression. This is an album. The Depression Sessions.
I see. So that's the name of the album. They give you 2 tracks from the album that would. And the.
I'm going to mute myself and listen to this track.
I was going to say, Charles, do you have a second pour for us today?
I do. Can I run get it? Because I want it still chill. And
oh yeah, go get it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't have a portable fridge under my
That is
seat.
okay. You
All
know
right,
what you
I'll be
gotta
right
do.
back.
I thought it was really interesting what Charles was talking about, how the way your tastes shift and ebb and flow, and mine do. They just don't with such wide range as some of you guys.
Well, I think the idea of seasonality in beer drinking is
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
That many people.
It's something I
ascribe
reject,
to.
but
yes, it's something you reject, but many people do ascribe to.
Something I reject, but it doesn't mean I don't have a range.
That's
the
true.
range is just a much more of a narrow field. Like what I was talking about in a few recent episodes, I've been talking about how lately I've been craving more of these Russian imperial stouts and a little less of the dessert pastry stouts. I still enjoy the pastry stouts, but man, I can't tell you how excited I was when I saw what Charles was just talking about when Old Rasputin came back into our universe again. And so
all right,
it's nice
Charles,
to have,
you drink lagers and IPAs and sours as well. I mean, you're not exclusive to the Porter Brown Stout.
Life.
I've seen you drink others, but yeah, you are consistent. Where the rest of us, well, at least I mean, I'm always changing. I've been living the lager life past few years. I don't know how long that's going to last. Am I going to go back to IPAs? Am I going to get more into lambics? I don't. Who knows?
You do
lambics.
you, Huck.
It's okay, Huck. I'm holding the IPA fort down along with Charles. But Charles, what do you have for us?
Well, since I talked about them for like a few, as part of my origin story and stuff like that, I will feature a Dogfish Head.
Hey, look at that.
And now Dogfish Head is interesting. They usually do bottles, but I saw Huck had a tiny can, and we all been having big cans. I have a medium can.
Hey, look at that.
12 ouncer. Cool.
Old 12er.
Yeah. So this is called Hazy IPA.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting about it is you're like, oh, yeah. Everybody's doing hazy. This is it's a juicy IPA. I'm going to read the can because I don't want to mess up right now. So it's a juicy hazy IPA brewed with malted rolled naked oats and oat milk.
Oh,
okay.
So it's like it's like an oat extravaganza. So instead of doing like a lactose sugar milk thing, they are doing an oat thing.
Yeah, I like that. That gives it a smoothness. It should give it a smoothness that the lactose sometimes does, but
so it makes me wonder if the very lovely.
That was a beautiful crack.
Oh fuck yeah, my dude.
Fuck yeah, my dude.
Now, something I'm also very proud of is my glass collection. So
Okay.
when I went to Dogfish Head, as always, my family, we all sampled one of their strange ones, and they're like, well, this is a strange one, and we also wanted to do what does he call, like a survey? Because it was more of experimental, and I guess this has got to be something that, like you, Beer Wonder, have been calling them, Uncle Sam might have like introduced to the Dogfish Head. Is like, let's do some surveying. So because we did it, we got this like beautiful kind of like Teku glass that I was like, yeah, why did they never like capitalize on the Dogfish Head having like the scales? But anyway,
there you go. Yeah,
it's a beautiful cool glass.
Yeah.
So,
well, all right, we'll bring it up a little higher so we can see that pour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's that good gold color. It's that good haze. It's that good head buildup. It's just everything I want from a delicious hazy boy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to start slurping.
Yeah,
that.
we don't want that. To...
There you go. So that's the sound of glory right there.
Oh.
So I'm guessing with the name Hazy O's, they're sort of trying to Hazy O's and the oats. They're trying to invoke some kind of Cheerio thing.
I can only assume.
So you'll have to tell us if you can go back long enough in your head to see if it has anything close to a Cheerios flavor profile.
All right, let's I'll sip it. Let's see.
Indeed. Oh, it's a pretty one. It's got nice that juice bomb look to it.
Yeah.
I would be searching if I was going to say I taste the Cheerios. I don't know if it has so much of a strong cereal taste. It's got that hop fruitiness though.
Okay.
So it's like dialing it down from what I had before with the puree strawberry stuff, and it's just like emphasizing those hops with the oats and the sugar and giving it a mouthfeel. I think the oats give it a mouthfeel.
They tend to, yeah.
And then you have the oat milk giving it that, so that it's not bitter. So it's just like almost like a juice bomb, like Huck was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there a cereal taste on it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how like the oats would influence that.
It's just good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking with mine. Like I'm trying to like analyze it, and I'm not getting anything especially boozy. It's just like there's something about how that Russian Imperial Stout flavor is just so strong and powerful that not much else gets in there. I've had ones that like where like okay, I can taste a little bit of cinnamon, I can taste a little bit of peppers. Mostly it's just like that Russian Imperial Stout is there. It's
Can I ask you? Is this? Am I tasting nutmeg?
There's nutmeg in here. There's nutmeg in here. There's nutmeg in here. There's.
I didn't know that was going to be a loop, but
sometimes what you need is a loop.
I am so happy. We took a while.
Yeah, I've had that on the soundboard for weeks, and that's the first time we actually worked it into the show. She'll be happy to know she made a cameo appearance.
I'm sorry, I kind of forced it, but that was appropriate. You mentioned cinnamon, so
there's nutmeg in here.
There's nutmeg in here. That's great.
Is that too deep of a cut for you, Charles? No, because I know you're a super fan. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, that was a little cameo appearance by the Babe. If we're gonna do that, I'm not sure if we're gonna do that or not. Because every time I start Belgian, I'm not sure what is going to come out of my mouth next. So we've kind of taken to abbreviating the Belgian Babe and the Belgian Blonde to just the Babe and the Blonde.
Yeah.
Or referring to both of them, we'll just call them the Belgians.
Which we'll need to have them back together because that just will make everything. And Trapel Man, we should just give them, the three of them, the show and see what happens.
Yeah, just like, hey, it's the Belgian show.
Exactly. Well, I do have some exciting reports from our Week in Beer.
Oh, do tell.
Two important things. First off, I do want to note that Cider Girl's birthday did happen between our last recording and our current recording. And that was exciting. And so I did spend a little bit of time at a brewery with her. I happened to be Coney Island, along with Nutpool. And he does not send his regards.
Oh,
so just needed to be clear on that one. Yeah,
that guy can hold a grudge, huh?
I know. He really can.
I mean, we're fine with him. I don't know why he would be.
I mean, say what you will about Nutpool.
Say what you will about Nutpool.
I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
in more important and accurate. I mean, not that Cider Girl's birthday was not important and accurate and delightful. And
you tell him if you see him again, tell him we send our regards.
I will. I do. I occasionally run across him. As you can tell, we've had some interactions recently in the real world. However, I'm excited that on the day of recording, now this is Wednesday, June 2nd, for those of you listening along in real time, I had the pleasure of going to a new brewery location that happens to be very close to my undisclosed location. It is Evil Twins' new Dumbo Brooklyn tap room. And I was in there within like 3 hours of them opening. It was very exciting. So a couple of notable things. First off, great can sales. They're going to have a coffee shop. They've got that great board that we're used to from their Ridgewood location with all the amazing titles and everything. I tried a Spelt Lager, which was lovely in a short pour. They've got Wi-Fi, so that may become my new work from home location because, that works. But they are a fully vaccinated location. So
wait a minute, you have to be vaccinated to enter?
You do have to be vaccinated to enter. So because of their size and their desire to have lots of people in there, they are currently requiring everyone in that specific location who is going to sit down and have a beer to be vaccinated. So that was kind of cool.
That's great. When are we going there together?
I mean, you just named the day. It's literally, I can stumble. I could go there right now. Like I could be there in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So you let me know.
Not tomorrow, maybe the next day.
Okay,
did they take temperatures and did they do the contact tracing or just?
Nope, because they're using they're checking stuff at the door is what it appears.
So I'm assuming both the cards or the Excelsior Pass.
Yep.
Okay.
I just use Excelsior Pass.
Yeah. Okay.
But they are asking for full vaccination in that space, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then once you get in there, it was for 3 hours open, and the middle of the day on a Wednesday. I was there around 3:00 p.m. It was pretty hopping. 3 bartenders working. It's a gorgeous space, really big, tall area. They had the doors open so you could feel the wind blowing. Like, it was a really beautiful, lovely spot. As tourists return to Gotham City, which I am very excited for, given that my undisclosed location is in a heavily touristed area, I'm nervous for the foot traffic that they might start to get. And I also want to remind our dear friends over at Randolph Brewing that they are not forgotten, and we're going to make sure that everybody gets a little bit of love during this adventure. But I'm so
gotta
happy.
Go to that rooftop situation you and Trip Hellman had sounded wonderful.
I mean, here's the thing. You've now got a crawl going, and if you need some spirits, you can also swing by King's County Distillery. And in theory, Blue Point was going to open up a small brewing location also within walking distance. So there's now a beautiful, beautiful beer stumble to be had here in Dumbo. And I just want to welcome our dear friends at Evil Twin to the neighborhood. And let them know that I will be there regularly. And also, all beer vengers are welcome at any time.
Nice.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know I announced on the show a week or two ago that I just found out that the Baroness, we had announced that they had closed, but we announced that they'd found a new location, the former location of the Corner Bistro on Vernon Boulevard. I didn't realize how soon it was because apparently they opened last Thursday.
Oh, wow.
So that is there. That's in existence. They have I think at the moment, a smaller list of their amazing burger selection, but so many great things there, as well as they really focus on local. I think I saw like 4 or 5 other halves on their menu. And like some Equilibrium, and I can't remember what else, but they're very into local craft beer. So I'm going to try and go there tomorrow, and I'll report on that next week.
Oh,
good news.
It's good to have important reports in the field.
I went to another brewery over the weekend, Rockaway Brewing.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
at Rockaway Beach.
Whoa,
that is something.
That
almost makes it worth going to the beach.
It was something. Well, we have a friend who lives out there and went to see their the baby. Have you seen the baby? Beautiful baby.
No, but I did see that episode of Seinfeld.
Yes. And so we visited them. We did go to the beach. It was rather cold, but then we went to the brewery. Nice little space, very beachy. It's like a real like warehouse kind of space, and it was fine. It was fine. I've been to the one in LIC, and it was nice that they have this other Rockaway in the Rockaway. So it's the proper restoration of their home there. And last night I went to the open mic, which I hadn't gone to since last February.
This, of course, is a downtown indie staple for performers, right?
The open mic downstairs. It's usually under St. Mark's, and it was at the Crane Theater last night.
Okay. Now, they seem to be pioneers in bringing new things back.
Yeah, they're really trying. And the thing is, with theater in New York, I know at this point, let's just say June 2nd, there's still all these rules about what you can do with opening a theater, a comedy club, or whatever. So they had vaccination. You had to be vaccinated. We had to wear masks the entire show in the audience. We had to have spacing, the 6-foot distancing, so they had less chairs in there. We had to do contact tracing, fill out a form. Okay. No drink, food or drink in the theater, right? Wow. A little bit of overkill. Hopefully they can tone that down as the weeks come. But they're being safe. But just upstairs is the KGB bar, great bar, really cool place. But I mean, it was completely lawless. Like there's no masks, no spacing. People are at the bar. People are at the tables. People are outside. They had outside drinking. And I did manage to grab a Baltica 9 strong lager, a Russian beer. Anytime you go to KGB bar, you get the Baltica. They're bigger bottles and really nice lager, actually. And I was reading about it, and they completely brew it naturally, natural fermentation, to get a stronger lager. So it takes a lot more time. And they're owned by Carlsberg. But and they have pretty wide distribution. But you really don't see it in the city unless you go to KGB.
Right.
But if you do see them, that's a good beer, Baltica. I think that's covering that. Yeah, there we go.
I did want to clarify one thing that you said about the crane is that, I know the audience is socially distanced, but they're socially distanced by groups, right? Like if you buy a group of 3 tickets together, you get to sit together and then you're socially distanced from the next party.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
But I bought my Baltica and I came back into the theater and Debbie at the door was like, you can't come in. You can't come in with it. Yeah. So I had to chug it outside. But we had it was a great show, and it was great to be back performing again, and so great. Hope to see more of that as the months go by here in the summer.
Well,
it really is interesting the way those rules are. I went back to this is not a beer thing, but I went back to the gym for the first time today, thinking I was going to have to try to do it masked, and then I walk in with my mask and I see no one's wearing a mask. And I'm like, and so I asked the guy behind I noticed right away the guy behind the desk isn't masked. Mm-hmm. And so I said, are you guys unmasked for vaccinated people? I said, oh, yeah. And so I took off my mask. Do you need to see my proof? And he said, no.
Oh.
So it's completely on the honor system, which I'm starting to feel less conflicted about. Yeah. Only because that if someone is going to lie about it, they're the ones voluntarily exposing themselves to the risk.
Yeah.
And if that person is taking the risk and people will associate with them, it's just like, I can't help them.
Yeah. Well, and we're 2 weeks out from the CDC's big announcement that kind of shook everything, and rates are still going down. So y'all, these vaccines, there's some good stuff. And I also heard today that if we can get 70% by, I believe it's July 4th, Budweiser is buying us all around. And I'll be honest.
Oh, okay.
I will be honest. I will drink that beer.
Yeah.
I will
drink that beer.
I will, even if in New York, it will technically probably only be a discounted beer. Now, maybe you didn't read. Did you read the details about this?
I did read the details.
It's like a $5 voucher.
I know. But here's the thing. I will drink that. I will drink that beer. I might even drink it on the podcast.
Because
I'm just saying, Beer Avenger Nation, get your damn vaccines, and I will drink a Budweiser on the Beercast.
That'd be great.
And all I'm saying is, you can really count on an independent movement in New Jersey and other small locations to do something really well for InBev to take it and manage it in an inferior way.
Clearly, absolutely.
But but I think their deal. I think you probably said this because I always try to listen, but sometimes I'm waiting to talk. I'm trying to get better about that. But you said their criteria is when we hit 70% of minimum one vaccination, right?
Yes, and it is. Yes. It is. I believe time limited, so it needs to be by July 4th. Which
by July 4th, I think we're only about 50 right now.
Yeah, exactly. So get on it, America.
Oh, please, please just go.
If there's any choir out there listening to that, we're not just preaching to. Come on over to our side. We'll join you at Evil Twin.
Yeah, exactly. In Dumbo.
That's even to me. The idea that we can all hang out together at Evil Twin is even better than having a free Budweiser.
Well, very soon.
What is going on with my lighting?
You look fabulous, Huck. But here's the situation: we do have some important business we have to get down to. Charles has been very patient with all of us, but it is time for some naming, I think.
Well, that's true, but I have another.
Oh, you have another pour. Oh,
another
my God.
Pour.
A three-pour show. What is this?
And this
is going to be a New Year's Eve show, I think.
This is another one for the sound cue because it is a.
Oh, hang on. I was so totally unprepared for them.
I know it is a.
There's nutmeg in here.
No, not
nutmeg in here.
There may be nutmeg in here.
Cue it up again, Huck.
This is a
sponsored pour.
That's right. This one's called Business. It's from Stillwater Brewing.
I love that
dollar
beer.
Signs on it. It is an imperial stout. I don't know how imperial it is. Let me see what it looks like.
Oh yeah, it's pretty imperial.
Oh no, that's decidedly imperial. It's got those money signs all over it. Oh, this one is cash, and no head. Basically no head. Like the head just considered being a head and then was like, nah, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of. It's made with molasses and muscovado. Muscovado. That's something to figure out what that is.
I think muscovado is simply something that is like it's molasses sugar. I think that's really essentially what it is.
You can really taste the Muscovado.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that finish. It's like,
isn't it great?
This kind of creamy coffee finish on it.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
I like that. So we're getting to the naming.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We do have important business.
And we do have the hookups as well, but
we do have the hookups too. Yes, we should do the hookups first. So it gives me more time to think of a name.
I'm going to go as quickly as I can on these. Chill Haze, I already said that. Miami and the Erie Canal. I'd never heard of that. It's a different canal from the Erie Canal.
It is, yeah.
Interesting. Talea started in 2018 by Tara Harkinson and Leanne Darland. We talked about Melbourne Brothers. It was mentioned that they were an Old English brewery. Yes, from 1816 to 1974, the Melbourne Brothers All Saints Brewery. In 1974, they closed, and all their facilities were bought by the Samuel Smith Company. So in the 90s, they revived some of the old Melbourne Brothers recipes, specifically the fruit beers. So Melbourne Brothers, they did a variety of beers. They had stouts and other beers, but it was those fruit beers, and they have a series of fruit beers now called the Melbourne Brothers fruit beers that you can buy under the Samuel Smith name. There you go. So an egg case, a Devil's Purse is an egg case, right? An egg case for some sharks, skates.
So so like an egg shell?
Yeah, well, it's an egg case because it's like the
case
a
of the eggs coming.
And it's got little tendrils that come off it, and the fish will just sort of leave it, and the tendrils will grab onto rocks and will be able to anchor itself.
Got it.
And then the thing about the Devil's Purses, and the reason they're popular at the Cape, because a lot of them wash up on the beach after the eggs are gone. So they're like egg shells essentially, and you find those Devil's Purses, and they look evil. They're black, so that's the idea. That's why they call them the Devil's Purse. And chimeras is another kind of fish that has the same kind of Devil's Purse. There you go. Okay, good.
All right.
Well done. Well done. I was going to call myself by my name, but
I have a feeling that some of the names that I have in my head, others might have come up with as well. Okay. But I want to hear Huck's first.
No, me? No.
Well, I'll start because I only have two. Now, first, I was considering, Charles, your New York heritage, and so I wanted to go with an historic New York brewery, and your youthful energy also inspired this as well. So one suggestion I had was the Rhine Golden Boy.
Oh, that's good.
Which takes it back to some of our old school New York City beers.
I like that.
But also, given your love of hops, and I am always so pleased to be joined by an IPA fan, and your penchant for the science of books, I thought the Lupularian could be an interesting option as well.
Oh man,
the Lupularian.
Nice. Beer wonder out of the gate with two winners.
Well, I just wanted. I disappointed everyone at the start today, so I felt like I needed to build myself back up.
I like that for the Lupularian, and also the other one, because I was thinking we had the Belgians, we have two mothers now, we got two boys.
That's true.
The Boy Wonder and the I forgot the name already, but I liked it.
The Rhine Golden Boy.
Golden Boy. That's hilarious. I love that. I hope Charles likes both of those.
Oh yeah, the local beer, the local bar down the street. It's like a beer garden. I don't know. Has Huck been there? It's called the Lock Yard, and they used to feature a lot of American craft beers. They have an awesome bathroom in their garden area. You go in, and it's just lined with the Rhine Goldheart cans and stuff like that. It's pretty. It's
Rhine
pretty cool.
Golden Boy. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing stuff against the wall. So I had the Librarian, but I already like the.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm somewhere on the same page with you on that.
The because you get Liberian is like you're from another country.
Exactly. Yeah. I had the exact same thought. You can't really say the Liberian because it makes it sound like he's from Liberia.
He likes the different, the style shifter.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
The Burro Presidente, and the Q, either just Q, Kew, or the Q Train. These are terrible. They don't have anything to do with beer.
I think Q has some excellent legs, or we don't really say legs.
Right.
Something with Q and non, but I couldn't.
Well, it started with Star Trek, then it went over to something really evil, and maybe that would be our way of re-owning it.
Exactly.
We're bringing Q back to something positive.
Yes.
I had one of my first jobs in the city. I was working for a commercial editing company, and one of the tape guys, he's like, "Oh, you're from Kew Gardens? I used to live there. I'm gonna call you the QG." I thought it was hilarious.
That's good too.
I like that one.
That is good. Yeah, the
QG. And then I just had a whole bunch of shark ones. The Shark Fan, the Shark Nadote with the oats. I mean, I'm not on my game today with these. The Haze Shark, because of the dogfish, is a type of shark.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But one, maybe this one could work. Shark Pool.
If anyone wants to be associated with Nut Pool, I mean, say what you will.
Say what you will about Shark Pool. Okay, so mine are all kind of bad. But what do you guys?
No, but you're very much on the right track with some of your. I mean, I like a lot of what you said. But the ones that you had that I thought I would probably have some similarities with were riffing on the whole librarian thing, right? Yes. So, but like you said, librarian is just too awkward. Liberian sounds like it's something else.
Yeah.
But I had a notion
Not that there's anything wrong with librarians.
What about the idea that the librarian who comes home from work and he starts to drink beers and then he becomes what would be the barbarian? But in this case, it's the beerbarian.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Look at this.
So that's really all I have. I'm gonna put it all on that one. But
this was a fruitful naming.
The beerbarian.
I like beerbarian, and of mine, I like Shark Pool.
And I really like QG.
The QG, that's
QG.
I mean, it's kind of insular. It kind of needs more explaining than some of the other ones.
Yes,
but it's also worth the explanation.
I also like the ones that the Beer Wonder came up with. If you run those again,
Lupularian and Rhine Golden Boy.
Those are both good. What do you say, Charles? It's up to you.
So overwhelming.
No one's feelings are going to get hurt, so don't worry.
The reason I specified that beerbarian was more of a twist on barbarian is because if it was just librarian, then you'd have to say beerbrarian, and that wouldn't work. But the beerbarian, I with also like a beer baron too, that fits that there.
Oh man, I love the power of the beerbarian. So yeah, I'm gonna go from the gut and just say, I mean, Beer Wonder had me, and then beerbarian.
Well, the beerbarian comes with such power, and honestly, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that really fits. Awesome.
I think it fits beautifully. Yeah.
But what I love it is, like, I know we don't use our real names, but I just love the whole notion of it would be like, because it's just shitting on the Conan thing. It's like Charles the Beerbarian. Like,
and
Conan
if
the
I
Barbarian.
could, and if I could,
yeah. What do you got?
If I could plug another Delaware brewery,
of course.
I unfortunately drank all four because I just couldn't wait, and I needed to make room in the refrigerator. But there's a brewery called Revelation Brewery also in the area.
Yeah,
and they have their IPA is a solid IPA. It's not like a wow, it's not, but it's like.
Is it called the Mark of the Beast?
It's called Conan the Juice Man.
Ooh,
Conan the Juice Man.
So
fitting beer for Charles the Beerbarian.
So that's why I'm just kind of like I appreciate that as my naming.
Well,
as you
very
would say.
Good.
The Beerbarian. I think that's great.
As I go through Delaware, conquering the many breweries with my trusty sister and brother-in-law. Testing out the yeasts and the hops.
The whole Beerbarian family, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like there's a Led Zeppelin song in there.
No.
Very good.
Excellent. And Captain, two in a row for the Cap.
Hey, look at that.
It just sometimes it comes to me.
When you guys had that week where I wasn't here and that was that put a fire under the both of you, and I think you're outdoing me now, and you don't need me anymore.
No, we
I'll
will
be
never
going
not
now.
need you,
Oh,
Huck.
we
We will
do.
never not need
I'll be
you.
going. Well, you need
You
me to
just
play
like making us
You
beg.
need me to play the theme song.
I do in a minute, but that was a wonderful segue talking about that one show where we had the naming problems because as of the time you hear this, you will be able to download the newest episode of Acquired Tastings, where I guested on and officially announced the name of Josh Mills of Acquired Tastings. So look for that. Also,
Do you know when that
I
drops?
have to say something more about our sponsor, Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars. They are
Right.
now officially open for indoor and outdoor dining. Still not bar service yet, but they've taken down most of the shower curtains except the ones in front of the kitchen. They have shower curtains all around the counter. That was their sort of makeshift way of doing that. But they have they have indoor seatings with partitions, and they just today, and this is we all have to make our reservations as soon as possible, especially before this drops. They're doing 3 seatings for their because they had to skip their anniversary party last year. They're having their 7th anniversary party on June 27th. In order to keep things socially spaced, they're doing them in 3 reserved seatings at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. And I think there are only 60 seats available for each one of those.
Oh, wow.
So look into that. It's the first one I think is only 2 hours, so that's $50. The other 2 are 65, and where they have their great they have 12 curated special beers, and it's a totally open bar situation, and
that's so cool.
It's always magical. So look to that. And I know we're running kind of long tonight, but does there anyone else have any other business they want to? All right. Well, welcome to the Beervenger fold, Beerbarian.
Oh.
Or the Beerbarian or Beerbarian?
It's up to you.
It's your choice. It's your choice.
Yeah, it is your choice. Beerbarian?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
All right. Very good. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
If you like what you're hearing and you want more people to know about it, please say so on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach out to us at thebeervengers.com, thebeervengers@gmail.com, and on all the social medias at thebeervengers. And thanks so much for listening, and thank you so much, Beerbarian. And it's wonderful having you. Come back anytime.
Thank you.
Which
it was such an honor. It was such an honor.
Which is the same thing my father said to me when I left Ohio last week.
Oh,
it's true. But all right, wonderful show, everyone. Huck, do the honor of playing us out.
See you next week. Well, we're the Beervengers, Beervengers, Beervengers.
We're the Beervengers.